Hi there, everybody. I'm Mairead Smialek, and I'm here with Ron Masseo with Masseo Home Inspections. And I'm here today to talk with you about something that's really important in the home buying process. And first of all, thank you for always taking such great care of my clients. You're one of my faves.
Pleasure. My pleasure.
Your years of experience are tremendous and a huge asset to my clients. I think when we talk about home inspections, there's a lot of verbiage that people don't understand, so we're going to break it down. So what's a 4-point inspection and why do we need it?
Well, it's not we, it's the underwriter. It's your insurance company that requests these 4 points. And every insurance carrier has different underwriting guidelines. Some are 10, some are 12, some are 15. But what they are looking for in a 4-point is basically what's in a 4-point is roof, electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. That same information is in a general home inspection report. Unfortunately, they don't want to pull that information out of a home inspection report. They want it on their own form.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what they don't care about, what color the tile is. They only care about those 4 main points in a 4-point.
So wind mitigation, what's that? Because people talk about that all the time too.
So it's kind of similar but different. A wind mitigation, there's people ask me, did I pass? There's no pass or fail. A wind mitigation is to identify the wind mitigation features of your home and what credits you're going to get so the insurance carrier can apply those credits to your insurance policy. I.e., what is the shape of your roof? Hip roof is more favorable than a gable-ended roof. How are your trusses attached to your exterior walls? What's the nailing pattern like? Do you have a secondary water barrier? When was the roof put on? Right?
All important.
So anything after, from the 2002 building code and on, you get that discount, right? Anything before that, you won't get that discount. So it really all depends on the age of the home. Has it had a new roof? Has it had a third nail put in on the straps on the outside of the house? Has it got a clip? Secondary water barrier? All that would be identified in a wind mitigation. Insurance carriers will look at that and apply those discounts to your policy.
Yeah, and the thing that I love about you is that when there is a problem, and I say, what do we do about this? You always come back to me and say, Mairead, do this, talk to this person and we can find other remedies.
Right.
Which, speaking of which, we go into homes and there are some areas of expertise in an inspection that are outside of the scope of your practice, like seawalls, WDOs, things like that. Do you want to speak about where do you see when you go into a home inspection that you want to call somebody else in to collaborate with you?
So any waterfront property, we always recommend a dock seawall inspection.
Yeah.
They're very corrosive. You're in a saltwater environment, salt air environment.
Yep.
We all know what happens, right? Things corrode, the wave action against the seawall will deteriorate a seawall.
Yeah, and that's an expensive item if you don't have it properly inspected.
It is, and last I heard, I want to say it was roughly about $1,000 per linear foot.
Yeah,
so, seawalls do get expensive.
I've written that check. It's not fun.
Right. So, and same thing with docks and with boat lifts. I mean, somebody says, "Oh, would you go check the lift?" Yeah, I can check the lift. I can tell you if it operates. But it's not what we do.
Absolutely.
So we always refer that out
to
a third party. I don't want to take on that responsibility, and I'm not skilled in that inspection, so I wouldn't attempt it.
So let's talk about rats and termites and pests and all the things that people don't want to talk about in Florida, but they exist, right?
Welcome to Florida.
Right, exactly.
It's their
world.
There are
gators here too.
Exactly. We just have to coexist with them.
Yeah.
So I mean. Termite inspections, 100%. Every homeowner purchasing a home, whether it be new, used, always get a termite inspection.
Yeah.
Rodents, we're gonna, it's more often than not that we're gonna find rodents inside attics. And you hire a pest control company to come in, they'll do a rodent exclusion, they'll do trapping if necessary.
Right. And that's pretty standard for you on every one of your home inspections.
Yep.
You want to make sure that someone's in there just making sure, because it can be expensive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, when you're walking to a home, I know there's some things that are concerning, but what's the most concerning thing when you're looking at a house at an inspection that you're worried about?
I would say probably unpermitted work.
And why is that?
Well,
for obvious reasons.
For a lot of reasons. Yeah. One, you want to make sure that it was inspected properly by the building department. It meets the current code when the work was done. You don't want to inherit past homeowners' mistakes or work that was unpermitted because you're responsible for it.
Yeah.
There's been a couple of stories in Miami-Dade. Building inspectors have been going out and finding people who have done unpermitted work, and they're holding those homeowners accountable.
Yeah.
And they're making them bring these homes back up to code and having the proper permits pulled for the work that was done.
There seems to be a lot of confusion about what should be permitted, what shouldn't be, like a hot water heater. Like if I think the city is yes and the county is no. I always reverse them in my head.
Most of the municipalities, if it's like same,
Okay.
if you're replacing a hot water heater with a electric, typically you don't need a permit. If you're going from electric to gas or gas to electric, then yes, you would need.
Yeah,
need
and
a
that's
permit.
obviously a minimal example, but you imagine
Correct.
a scenario where it's not permitted, and I've heard this can happen, where the county or the city goes out and they find out that your AC is not permitted, but then they see something else that's not, and then all of a sudden you're tearing
Exactly.
apart your entire house,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. And that's
So-
probably the number one offender would be non-permitted air conditioning work.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I mean, especially if you're not in a new community, people, you're in a community that's already built out. AC guy shows up, and by the way, he charged you for the permit.
Yeah.
And they just go in there. It's a one-day change out, so they don't bother to pull a permit, and then we show up. We do an inspection. Oh, your AC is 2023.
Yeah.
But you don't have a permit for it. So we do what's called an after-the-fact permit.
Yeah.
They have them go in after the fact, pull a permit. Nobody's in trouble. They just pay a small fine,
Yeah.
pull the permit, have it inspected.
You just found one for me where an entire lanai a couple months ago was put on, and the lanai wasn't permitted.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that saved my people probably like $35,000. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's talk about buying a new home and how often people say, I don't need a home inspection, it's a new home. What are your thoughts on that?
My favorite subject, as you just heard from the previous call.
Yeah. We should have taped that.
Yeah, we should have taped it. New construction, more often than not, people have a misconception that, I don't need a home inspection. It's new construction. What's wrong? And I say, more often than not, you're going to find more things wrong in new construction than you would with a home. Most people who have generally been in a house for a long period of time, they've already worked out all the skeletons, right? And
Yep.
if they're taking good care of their home, new construction is there's so many different people touching that house. There's so many subcontractors in that house. Mistakes are going to be made.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes, right? So
100%.
I mean, I always tell people more often in new construction, if you want to get a home inspection on new construction.
I agree.
All the time.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's talk about plumbing in older homes. That seems to come up between polybutylene pipes and cast iron pipes. And, what are your thoughts on all of that and what you should be doing if you discover any of those issues?
So cast iron obviously is real, right?
Yeah.
It was around up to a certain point in time. Anytime we know or we have any inclination that there is cast iron in a home, we're always going to recommend scoping. We want to see the condition. I mean, as inspectors, we can only see what we can visually see, right?
Yeah.
We can't see behind walls. We can't see underground. So if we know that there's cast iron, we're always going to recommend scoping. There's technologies out there today that wasn't available years ago, with lining and sleeving of pipes. So polybutylene, that you brought that up. Just last week, I was in a home here in Sarasota, and it had a crawl space, and I was getting ready to go in there, and the realtor said to me, "What are you looking for under there?" I said, "Well, I got to see just the plumbing because it's all underneath.
Yeah.
Make sure you don't have polybutylene." Her response to me was, "There's no polybutylene in this house. It was built in 1991. Well, that's kind of like the sportscaster saying, "Hey, this guy hasn't missed a field goal in 30 the past 30 games.
Right.
We all know what happens after that. He says that.
100%.
Of course, I come out of the crawl space. I'm like, "You got polybutylene. You got to repipe the whole house."
That's why you're so thorough. And I love that.
It's uninsurable. I mean,
Yeah.
no insurance company is going to touch
No.
a home with polybutylene.
And imagine
piping.
if you didn't go in there.
Right.
Imagine,
Right.
right? So last question is, someone's getting ready to list a home. Do you think it's good to have a pre-listing home inspection?
Absolutely.
I do too.
I think it works out a lot of the bugs.
Yeah.
It would make a real estate transaction probably a lot less contentious. Listen, people live in their homes, they don't know 100% what's going on. They're not in the attic, they're not on the roof. They just live inside the four walls.
Yeah.
So I always push for pre-listing inspections.
Yeah.
Now, more often than not, the buyer is going to bring another inspector in. He may find a couple of things that maybe were missed or vice versa, but at least you got the majority of the stuff already taken care of before you list the house.
Yeah. I love your years of experience and your building background. And I just want to say, if you're ever looking for an amazing home inspector, thank you so much for the interview today. You'll find Ron's contact details below, and we'll see you on the next one.